is up, Diskarte fam? Finally, welcome back to another episode of Diskarte with Mendy. My name is Mendy, and in this episode, if you are overwhelmed or struggling to get back on track or simply don't know what to do because you can't do anything because you're overwhelmed, this is the Diskarte that I've learned that works for me. I'm not saying it'll work for you definitely, but hopefully it gives you a couple of ideas that you might want to try out for yourself to stop being overwhelmed. If you've been subscribed to this channel, you would know that I haven't been posting for the past 2 months. And also, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, subscribe now because I talk about personal growth, personal wealth, career, side hustles, and everything in between. Anyways, the reason for my absence is simply this. I got overwhelmed with work, projects, side hustles, life in general. And so for the past 2 weeks, that is what I've been trying to do, trying to get back on track, trying to be productive, soulfully productive, healthily productive, if you may call it that. I wanted to get back to the point where I was able to do things or create things or make things without feeling tired after an hour, without overthinking it. And so these are the things that I've been doing to get back on track and stop being overwhelmed all the time. And so number one is I begin with a question to myself.
Hoy, overwhelmed ka ba talaga?
Actually, oo nga, na-overwhelmed ba talaga ako? Or am I just overthinking this?
Sometimes the overwhelming feeling or emotion might be physical. Just as a quick example, people that have GERD or suffer from gastritis like I do, one of the symptoms of an attack is actually feeling overwhelmed, sometimes even a panic attack. So I asked myself, have I not been eating properly? Which yes, I have not. Is it the acid? Is it the nerves? For people that like coffee, have you been drinking coffee too much? Is there such thing as drinking coffee too much though for people that love coffee? Or am I actually overwhelmed with life in general? And so I thought about it, and the past 2 years or 3 years have been really, really kind to me in terms of my career and my personal growth overall. And it really all boils down to the fact the cause of me being overwhelmed is fairly common, and that is I simply took on more than I can handle. I personally overestimated my mental, physical capacity, meaning I overestimated the time that I have in my day, in my life, and my capacity to do things. Some people get overwhelmed by putting themselves in situations where they actually don't know what to do, but they said yes, so they put themselves in that situation. And so that adds on to whatever else you're doing, and it's just a snowball where there's really just too many things coming in and out of your brain, in your face, and it really is just overstimulation. And just so you guys understand where I'm coming from, what my definition of doing a lot is I've got a main job, I've got 5 businesses, one of which I already let go, 2 of which I'm still building. One is losing a lot of money. I've got 2 side hustles because I let 1 side hustle go already. I've got YouTube content, overall creative content, other YouTube related activities like speaking engagements. There's a couple of people inviting me for projects and insight on businesses. Plus, I got married almost a month and a half ago, and all of that, guys. By the way, wedding industry, guys, I think there's so much space to make money in that industry. I gotta get into that game. Anyway, all of that had me working 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 hours a day for 6 to 7 days for the past 18 months. Guys, the biggest takeaway from that, obviously, is that the quality of my work has suffered. Not just the quality of work, my quality of life, even my health. I gained weight, guys, look at that. And so, when I acknowledged that to myself, I was like, wow, yeah, I've actually taken too much, and it's time to change it up. Number 2 is short and sweet. Stop being a yes person. Or on the reverse, just learn to say no more often. I went through what I went through because I would say yes to everything. Ask yourself, do I actually have the time for this? Or will my quality of life be affected if I do this, if I get into this situation? Especially for the people that are involved in business or creative work or freelancing in general, the more success you get, the more opportunities come your way. And obviously you want to maximize all of them. Obviously all of these opportunities have the potential to have you make more money. But take it from me, the money will come if you say yes to the projects that really resonate or is just really meaningful at your core, and the rest will follow. So save yourself the hassle and learn to say no more often. Next up, number 3, and the most significant thing I do is write everything down. So all the thoughts that I've had thus far, I write all of that down. This is so therapeutic for me, guys. I don't know about you, but There's just something about dumping everything on a piece of paper and looking at it. Most of the time, my piece of paper looks like a tree or a bush, and it just looks so messed up. But through that, there is order in the chaos. I am able to see everything, all the details, all the pathways that I envision this business going or this type of content going, the other ideas that I have and it branching out to whatever. Again, once I get all of that down, there's just a clear bird's eye view. And in that somehow organized chaos, there is clarity, at least for me. And in that clarity, I find peace. And so I wrote everything down: work, projects, YouTube, businesses, and then I assess which ones are genuinely meaningful for me. I get honest with myself and try to figure out which one actually would yield a net positive in my life. And of course, for the most of us, there is our main job, main source of income. And for me, there's a couple of projects that I've been working on for months now that just really haven't felt right, but I've been forcing myself to do it because I've already started it. I've got to finish and I've got to make sure that this, sets sail or whatever, but it just doesn't feel right. And so I begin to clip off, saw off some branches, clip off a couple of twigs off that tree. And I actually dropped a lot. I'm still dropping off a lot. I've already dropped a business. I've already quit one major income source, and I'm gearing up to get rid of a couple of more. But I'm not saying you have to let go of anything major, guys. All I'm saying is, trim the fluff. Trim the fluff. But knowing that I have less to think about and it's gonna be lesser and lesser comforts me. As a bonus, right? Knowing that I have tested my limits in doing a whole lot of other things, I am able to channel that energy. Now that I'm doing less, I'm able to channel that energy into the things that matter most. And that decreases, again, me being overwhelmed because I know that I'm doing something meaningful and that helps a lot of other people. Number 4 is change the I need to be productive mindset. What's funny is I've been trying to figure out how to be as productive as I can throughout the past couple of years since I started watching Thomas Frank in 2014 or 2015. In my head, I needed to be productive because everyone that is successful is productive. Elon Musk works in blocks and he did a lot of things, as you would know. And he said he works in time blocks, and I tried to apply that to myself. It actually worked for me, and it worked to a point where I, again, overestimated my capacity just because I thought I had everything organized, that I could keep on adding to that. And that was a cycle. I've come to realize that being productive isn't a tool or a set of tools or a methodology that you can just magically plug into your brain like the Matrix and it'll work and you'll be successful and you'll have a good life. I think, yes, being productive is important, and it'll come in handy when you're building an empire or a business or whatever, at whatever scale, right? But I think it's something that evolves with you. It's something that you develop over time as you grow and mature and you develop the ways you work. You have to make sure that you don't sacrifice your mental state or your mental health. Because what I found is that the most effective ways to be productive are ways that you are comfortable with. You can use the things that you learn on YouTube or anything that you've read as foundations for your productivity, but don't force yourself to use them if they don't feel right for you. We all have our own timelines, we all have our own pace, we all have our own areas of peace. Guys, just because you aren't tired after a hard day's work, or you feel like you did not exert the maximum effort for your job or your whatever you're doing today, that doesn't mean you aren't doing enough. Or you might be thinking that just because you didn't accept a project or you skipped out on an opportunity that you aren't going anywhere. Thinking this way often makes us go out and look for complicated solutions or generate complicated solutions in your head to what may be simple problems. Remind yourself that you don't have to do it the hard way. It's crazy for me to say this because this has been my mantra throughout my life. Find the easiest way to do something that'll generate the biggest impact or generate the maximum output. But I still fell into the trap of saying yes to too many things, saying yes to myself and my ideas. You don't have to push yourself to the limit, to the maximum, to the edge, to the point that you're being overwhelmed and anxious, and to the point that you're sacrificing your mental and physical well-being. My point is, live life knowing that it is not a race. For me, winning isn't the destination. Winning is enjoying the journey. Pace yourself, Diskarte fam. Guys, if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Maybe even hit the like button because it really does help out the channel. Also, there's other types of content that I'm putting out soon that is just exclusive for Instagram. So feel free to follow me on there. Thank you so much for watching. I'm very happy to be back. And as I always say after every episode, keep healthy, stay humble, and appreciate the small things. My name is Mendy, and this has been Diskarte with Mendy.